Hello and welcome back. So today I'm going to introduce a concept that has really helped me and sort of revolutionized the way that I do business in a lot of ways. It kind of helped me figure out how I should structure my day. But here's the question to ask. Like, do you feel busy? You've done a lot of stuff and you haven't seemed to have moved the ball at all. This was me. This was like, look, I've got my entire list of things that I've done and I've been checking them off all day. And I'll be honest, the list never seems to get any shorter. And at the end of the day, I feel like I really haven't done anything. So I'm going to introduce something called the Eisenhower Matrix. This was sort of thought about and like figured out from Dwight D. Eisenhower, the president and the commander, and then also on top of it was sort of popularized by Stephen Covey. So it's got a lot of brain power behind it and how it can actually help you. And the good news is that it is super simple. For me to adopt something, it almost has to be super simple and it has to be something that I can use in my day-to-day basics. First off, I have to start with a little bit of a show and tell on what it is. So take a look at this video, just briefly, me explaining it with some screenshots. Here you go. So the question is what is the Eisenhower Matrix? And quite honestly, how can you use it to enhance your life? Actually, this is all it is. It's very simple and it looks just like this. So basically, you have four quadrants. And the good thing about this is that they are set up into actual actions that you're going to do. But essentially, looking at this to show it off, it's important on one side, less important, more important. It's urgent on the other, urgent now, urgent for later, less urgent. And basically, that is it. And you take every task that you're going to do and you apply it somewhere inside of this matrix. So let's actually talk about what that would look like for certain things. So, mowing the grass. It's urgent, you have to do it, but it's not necessarily important right now. So if I would put it into the quadrant three, which is delegate, it makes sense to give that to somebody else to do. But something like paying my house payment, which is due today, that's going to go directly into the urgent file. So if you take your day and you put it on the quadrant into where it actually goes, it'll actually help you keep track of what it is exactly that you should be doing and how you should be doing it. So, after you've seen sort of what it is, we need to dive into some of the descriptions here and talk about how I actually use it. But I also want to define a few things. So, urgency. This is something like on how fast do you need to put your attention on this thing? Is it time sensitive? Is it, a reactive thing? Is it a ringing phone? Is it a deadline that's approaching right now? And it's something that you have to do. So urgency is about how quick does it have to be done? Important is long-term goals, value-wise. Is it something that I have to do because it's important to me to make sure that it is something that builds my long-term health, my long-term goals of what it is that I want to do? Now, these are going to be ever-changing because urgency can change. Importance can change over time. So you should always be evaluating these two definitions and how they fit on the matrix. So I'm just going to break down each quadrant yet again and just give a basic description of what each quadrant is because I really want to make sure that you have a good understanding of this so that you can apply these things to your life. So quadrant one, right up there, these things are important and they are urgent. And the action on this items, on people, things inside this quadrant is to do them. These are sometimes crises or deadlines or immediate problems, like you have to do it now. An example of that would be plan for a meeting that's coming up at noon, or change a policy today, or maybe call somebody because it's their birthday. These are things that are important and have to be taken care of right away. So, quadrant two. This is not urgent, but it's still important. So for long-term goals, you really want to get this stuff taken care of, but it's not something that has to be done right now. The to-do date on this is a little bit further out. This is long-term planning. This is relationship building, maybe prevention, personal growth, planning for later. And the action item on quadrant 2 is to schedule it. It needs to go on the schedule. You need to get it done, but it's not something that you have to do right now. Some examples for this might be like making sure that a client paid you, or maybe plan some advertising for next month. These are things that can all go on the schedule, but they need to be done for sure. Now, let's talk about quadrant 3. This is urgent, means that it really has to be done quickly, but it's not important. It doesn't help you with your long-term goals. So as I mentioned in the video, this is something that you're like mowing the grass. It has to get done. It's just there, but it's not important long-term goals. So the action item here is delegate. So items that are in this quadrant, you should lay off to somebody else. I find that personally, I'm pretty good at delegating what I can delegate. Obviously, this is a budgetary item in a lot of situations, so you're going to have to deal with some things. But the reality of it is that the faster you can get quadrant 3 items off of your plate and onto somebody else's plate, you're going to find that your day can be spent a lot more on the things that are up here in the top. Now, quadrant 4, not urgent, not important, meaning there's really no deadline on this thing, and it doesn't fit your long-term goals. So what would you put in here? Something like excessive news checking, like I need to make sure I know what's going on, or an unnecessary meeting where there's no clear agenda. Your Aunt Ida wants to meet with you. Now look, family is important, but long-term goals-wise and career-wise, it's not important. That thing you can kind of take off of your to-do list. And it's a lot of this area, these quadrants, are going to be your habits, your habitual stuff, the things that are not necessarily, and by habits, I mean the bad stuff, not the good stuff. Like this is like smoking. This is not like, oh, my habit is to work out every day. That's not the good, this is not a place for the good things. This is a place for the things that you need to work on more often to actually get rid of. So the question is, how do I actually use it? Well, I'll tell you. I, in other videos, have explained that I still keep a pen and paper of my daily ritual, of my to-do items, and everything else that's there. So I use this matrix as a way to do a couple things. Number one, an audit, an energy audit. So like some of the things that are on my daily routine, I can periodically go and throw them onto this matrix and see, am I using my time efficiently? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing in a normal situation? And so I use it to audit my daily time. The other thing I do is to use it to prioritize my to-do list. Everybody has infinite time. We do not have time to get everything done. So the reality of it is that I use this quadrant to figure out the stuff that I have to get done today. I work on those right away, and then some stuff that I can schedule for another day. Now, it's not very often that an item that's on my to-do list will end up in quadrant 3 or 4, but it's a really good checks and balances system. If it ends up down there, you can probably get rid of it or delegate it at this point. So this is an add-on to the other tools that you probably have in place, but you can use it in other ways too. Take a look at your weekly calendar. If you're doing a week review, this is something that I find high-level CEOs and stuff like that do sometimes Sunday night. A lot of people like to do it, a look ahead at the week coming up ahead and prepare for the week coming up. Maybe setting aside some time to put your calendar through this matrix makes a lot of sense, because you can decide, do I really need to get this meeting done, or is this something that I can get rid of? Is it something that I should move to another time whenever it makes more sense, so that I have more time to do this stuff? Here are some tips and some mistakes that you can avoid to get past this. There are 4 of them. Number 1, not reviewing regularly. If you're going to use the Eisenhower Matrix, it's important that you go through it all the time. So have an actual piece of paper, write it down, and put your stuff down there. Don't neglect quadrant 2. If something needs to go on the calendar, then put it on the calendar. If something needs to be planned for later, then plan it for later. Don't neglect that. Labeling everything as urgent and important. Really be honest with yourself about how fast it needs to be done and how important it is to your long-term goals. And then trying to put too many tasks in each quadrant, so you've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, a lot of things that are all over this. You can't do too much. You're going to have to re-audit the entire situation and make sure that you are being honest. And that leads me to a couple of tips for success. Be honest with yourself about your urgency and your importance. Make sure that you're being true to yourself and what your long-term goals are as far as figuring that out. I have another video that is planning your life. Maybe go watch that and then come back and see if you're still figuring out where you want to go. Regular reviewing and evaluating these tasks is super important. I make a to-do list every day, and every day they go into the Eisenhower box to make sure that we're putting it in the right place. Batching smaller tasks is awesome. Set aside 20, 30 minutes to batch the small items, knock them all out at the same time. Start small. Make sure that as you're looking through this, apply this to your to-do list. You just have a to-do list for the day. Maybe even look at it as far as your Saturday honey-do list or something like that. These things that I got to get done, the running around, the picking up food, the going groceries shopping, and the dropping off bills. Apply the Eisenhower Matrix to that and see how you more effectively use your time. Don't be afraid to delegate or delete. That's that quadrant 3 and quadrant 4 area there. Make sure you get rid of it. If it's something that shouldn't be on your schedule, say no. This is something that I'm working on personally, is that if it's not important, it doesn't help me long-term wise, I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm just going to get rid of something that I don't necessarily need to be doing. I need, and probably most of us need, to say no more often. Okay. It is time to figure out your call to action. And there are a few things that I want you to do. First off, try it. Write it out on a piece of paper and just try it. Let me know how it works. Share your experience here in the comments, because not only is this a community for people that I teach you something, but I also learn myself from everybody that I talk to on a daily basis. So I want your input. Put in the comments, did you get something out of it? Did you see something from it? Or do you have something that you use that's maybe just a little bit different? Practical first step is this. Take 10 minutes after you're done here. Take 10 minutes and try it. Just see what happens. Take 10 of your to-do things, put them in the Eisenhower Matrix, and see how it comes out. Nothing's going to stop or start unless you just start moving on it, unless you just start trying it out. Thank you very much for watching. I apologize for the nasal problems that I'm having right now. That is the time that we live in, and that is my current situation. So hopefully you were able to concentrate without too much of a distraction. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.